Hello everyone, and welcome back to DMG. The computer I have for you today is a bit of an odd one, since it's something most of you have probably used at some point without even knowing, yet none of you have probably ever seen it, because this is the HP RP5800. It is a point-of-sale computer, because after all, receipt printers, scanners, like barcode scanners, that sort of thing, they don't run themselves. They need something to plug into. And what they plug into is this slightly modified compact desktop with some very bizarre I/O. So I feel like this is going to be a fun one to take a look at. Let's get right into it. So first of all, I said it was a slightly modified compact desktop, and if I bring up a DC7600 small form factor from a couple years prior, you can really see the similarities. I mean, the disk drive is in the same place, fan on this side, same size chassis, all of that, but in everything other than appearance, this is a pretty different system. On the front, it has this funky little door under which are two USB 2.0 ports, and it also has some indicator lights that you don't usually see. There's the usual power and hard drive activity under the power button, but there are also Ethernet activity indicator lights right on the front, and I really love this feature. It's typically only on like servers and workstations, but I guess due to the odd use case, I don't know much about point of sale, so I don't know why Ethernet indicators would be needed on the front. It's an interesting thing to have, though. And on the back, that's really where the I/O gets weird. Also note that there's not an audio jack on the front like you would see on any consumer-grade PC ever, because although this does have audio on the back, I mean, you wouldn't need to plug headphones into your computer to listen to your barcode scanner. There's of course the power supply, and this is where the I/O is bizarre. You have two serial ports, which were definitely out of date by the time the third generation, like second and third generation of Core i5 processors came out, because that's what this uses. Most you would get 0 or 1 serial ports, so seeing those here is a bit odd. Of course, PS2 keyboard and mouse, a couple USB ports, DisplayPort and VGA, and then this cursed USB port. I'll get a bit of a closer shot of that. This port right here, labeled 24 volts, is a port that does not exist outside of the point-of-sale industry. I actually had to look up what the hell this was, because, well, I'd never seen one of these before. So this is a USB 2 port in this case, and this connector above it provides 24 volts to barcode scanners and receipt printers and that sort of thing, most of which take a 24 volt power supply. So this port is for, instead of having to use like an external power brick for a barcode scanner or receipt printer, both the power and the USB connection come from the computer. So I'd never seen one of those before, and well, now I have. Alright, now we'll crack it open. The hardware inside is not particularly crazy. It came with a 2nd gen Core i3. I've upgraded it to a Core i7 to get the most out of it. But on the inside, there are some very odd things that you wouldn't see on a typical desktop or like workstation computer. First of all, the lid switch is absolutely massive to tell the system if the cover is on or not. I've never seen one this huge, but the card that it's attached to is the real weird part. So there we go. Yeah, so it's a PCIe 16X slot that is just on the board, but it's not exposed to the back. Note that there is a 1X and a 16X slot that have covers on the back, and another slot here that doesn't. And that is because it is 2 full-height PCI slots, and the last one can either be a PCI slot or a PCIe 1X slot, and it also has a 56K modem and that weird USB port on it. So that USB port isn't even on the board, it's on this riser card. And this is actually a really, really fascinating thing to see, because like most small form factor computers, you only get 2 or 3 half-height slots like this. But with this system, you get a 16X half-height as well as 2 full-height PCI or PCIe X1 slots. And I'm going to say it again, I've never seen that before. An interesting use case for this system would be like retro gaming in a very small form factor. We're talking like Windows 98, Windows XP, a Quadro K620, for example, or K1200 would fit really well in that 16X half-height slot, really fast, really overkill card for XP gaming. And then you could fit an actual era-appropriate Sound Blaster, a full-height Sound Blaster card, in one of these. And of course it has a disk drive for your games on disk as well. But pretty much everything else on the hardware side is as a normal PC would be, except for this second serial port, which is another thing that is on a daughter card that is over this this connector. I'll lift up the power supply so you can see. It's over this ribbon cable. Well, not ribbon cable, but it's bundle of wires, I'll say. So, although its processor, memory, all of that is pretty conventional, it does have the weird ports and the weird riser card and all of that. This is not particularly unique to the RP5800, but HP used to be really great about ducting in their business grade systems, whether that be the RP5800 or, for example, a Compaq. So there's this duct here to guide the airflow onto the heatsink, which is actually a reasonably solid heatsink. I mean, it keeps the i7 below like 60, like mid 60 degrees during full load, but it has ducts for the intake and for directing air onto the heatsink. It's always been a bit odd to me that they didn't just put the fan on the heatsink, but I guess if it works, it works. Well, that's about all I have to show you with the RP5800. It's just a bizarre little system with some weird ports that you've probably never seen before. Again, you've probably used one of these at the grocery store and, well, you haven't even seen the computer. You haven't even known what it was, because, of course, these are hidden away behind the counter. One last thing to mention, there are actually other expansion cards that HP sold for this, other PCIe risers, that is. Instead of the 2 PCI slots and 1 PCIe by 1 slot, there is also a card with 3 PCIe by 1 slots, if that fits your needs more adequately, I guess. But it's not like more bandwidth. Another thing is, as far as I know, this motherboard does not support PCIe bifurcation, because, well, of course it doesn't. It's a rather low-end chipset from like 2010. But, of course, let's see, this is a bit hard to get out. But of course, that's a 16X slot, and it goes into the PCI and PCIe slots. So you can't, I don't think, you can't actually put anything other than this riser card in the first 16X slot without just completely cooking whatever card you put in there or the motherboard, because I think, again, I think this uses the PCIe interface but a proprietary pinout, because without PCIe bifurcation I don't see any way that you would be able to split out 2 PCI lanes and a PCIe without the chipset knowing where to direct the signal to. And there's actually a big gap in the traces right in the middle here, so I wouldn't be surprised if like here to here is the PCIe by 1 slot, and then there's a gap in the traces, and then the PCI slots start down there. Again, this is all speculation. However, I did put a GeForce 9300 card in this slot, and it didn't work. So I think that does confirm my suspicions that you can't put anything other than the riser card here, although you can put whatever you want on the riser card. But that's it for the RP5800. Weird little system with some odd little quirks. These aren't really too common. Not too many people actually know that these exist. They're pretty old by now. A lot of them have been pulled out of service in the point-of-sale industry, so you can still find them on eBay. But the point-of-sale industry likes to keep things alive for a long time. So HP actually still actively provides support for this system, which is really fantastic. Most other systems of this age, they've dropped support from. I can't think of a single other one that still gets like active driver support. I don't think the latest BIOS is from like this year, but I was surprised at how recent it was. Anyway, that's the RP5800. Weird little thing. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll come back again.